Hey guys, welcome back. Maverick here today with another episode of Fumetsu no Anata. So last episode, Fushi already accomplished half of his objectives already, right? Or I guess I should say maybe all of his objectives, because the Purity situation wasn't really in his original mission or goal, right? And of course, he's certainly not all that trusting of the Observer yet, so he doesn't really quite want to take on the Knockers and view that as his mission or goal in life, right? He just wants to get his memories back. He's already done that. Next, he's gonna find a way to rescue Purine, and then probably, he's gonna be like, okay, I'm fine, I'm good, I am out of here, right? But of course, with so many episodes still left, there's got to be some more to this entire story. So let's just jump into the episode and find out. All right, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Mm-hmm. Although I think he wants those memories for reasons other than their fighting abilities, though. Really? Okay. I actually kind of wonder, though, like, from what kind of perspective is the observer talking to us? Is he talking from a perspective of is he, like, all-knowing, all-powerful in a way? He already knows what Fushi is going to do? Um, is he really taking on the job of the narrator of the story, right? And also telling us what Fushi is thinking, so on and so forth? Or is he actually narrating the story purely from his observer status, right? Like, for instance, to him, Fushi losing those memories really just means him losing the powers that they have. So that's why he's choosing to narrate it in that way, rather than saying anything else as to, these memories are very important to him and so on and so forth, right? I think that's an interesting question, because just judging from that dialogue right there, I would think that the narrator here is just talking to us from the perspective of the observer, and not even quite, from like an all-knowing kind of angle, but rather just similar to how the observer talks to Fushi and their dialogue. Basically, the observer is also talking to us, if that kind of makes sense, right? So it's not really a narrator in a sense, it's just the observer talking to us. That's the kind of feel and vibe I get right now. Alright. 子供たちの夢. So basically, these puncher kids, right? That is an interesting thought. Really? Well, you certainly have the looks and the figure. So the rest of you guys have been outside before? Hmm? Hmm. I'm actually quite curious how that works, to be honest. Like, can he just really do it, like, unlimited amount of times? Just create stuff out of nothing? Oh. No. Tonari's diary? Damn, she has some pretty strong poison resistance. Or drug resistance. I guess it's also because she ate a lot fewer than the others. I mean, ate a lot less than others. Hmm. So just why can't they like I still don't understand why they can't just leave that place en masse. What incentive do they have to keep an eye on each other? I still don't think that the leadership or organization system on this island makes any sense at all. It does seem pretty buff. Oh, that was his father's gift. Interesting. That's all I can say at this point. Interesting. Hmm. You know, if there's one thing that's That's Hayase? Yeah, I still feel like there is some sort of outside influence that's that's controlling this island. I still don't buy into the idea that they would all just, you know, all agree to not escape the island. But anyways, beyond that though, what I was trying to say before that is, you know, if there's one kind of single thread that's tying together all these stories, it's that Fushi keeps on meeting these children, I guess you could say, who really are left to fend for themselves. Right? That's the one, I guess, common theme, common thread throughout all these arcs so far. Yeah, my new march was strong, but that's strong? Okay. Like, like who put her here? Why is she put? Never mind. We still got a few episodes. I'll be patient. Oh. Yep, that's Hayase. Damn, you got really messed up. No, she really has a lot of confidence knowing that Fushi is immortal. Don't you guys think? Oof. I killed her. Of course. Although I'm quite curious how that works, right? So she died after, like, long after Fushi had already left that place. Ooh, beheaded. She's just provoking him at this point. What is she trying to do, though? See, this is what I originally thought of her when she first appeared. Like, I was thinking that she's got to be quite strong in order to be like in order to be so confident, even in the face of some, obvious magical people, magical beings, and whatnot. Yeah, I was actually expecting it to go way more like that, even all the way back in the first arc. So I was actually quite surprised when she was overwhelmed so easily. But I guess she's making up for it right now. Alright, see you guys after this. Alright, so, well, that was some sort of development, right? Some pretty interesting stuff being shown here, but, am I gonna be honest, the thing that I'm interested in the most is definitely, Hayase here, and, how she shows up and just basically disables Fushi out of nowhere, right? Because, to be honest, this is what I was originally expecting out of her all the way back in the first arc, right? I was like, okay, she is, clearly unfazed by the presence of Fushi, by the presence of the Onigumi and whatnot. She's not faced by any of these what we can call extremities or oddities or whatever you want to call them, just supernatural things in some way, right? So I was thinking, okay, she's definitely very confident in her own abilities in order to be able to give off that kind of confidence and whatnot. And in the end, she basically got pushed over, got run over way more easily than I was originally anticipating. So this is actually much closer to what I was thinking her character was going to be all the way back in the first arc, right? This kind of relentless, super strong, super confident in her own ability, and she's definitely fighting. I feel like she's fighting for something, for something, right? It's not just for personal gain or profit or whatnot. Maybe it's for pride or so on and so forth, but you definitely get the feeling that she's trying to serve a higher purpose, and that's why she is able to be able to accomplish these kinds of feats and whatnot. Now, then again, right now, her appearing on the island and taking an interest in Fushi might really be more personal than for any kind of official matters or whatnot. I don't know whether she's still here on her mission to gain Fushi in order to utilize his powers in some sort of way, or is she just kind of pissed off that Fushi managed to harm her in such a way in the first place. And then obviously there's also the entire March thing and the Perona thing. March obviously escaped, right? I mean, she was killed by Hayase at the end, but she also kind of failed in what she was originally trying to do, right? And then also the rebellion of the villagers and whatnot. That's gotta, for this kind of character, it's obvious that that's going to be like a nuisance and whatnot. I mean, I am completely unsurprised that that's what happened in the end. You know, you go up against these kinds of, you know, you are a village, that was supposed to do a certain thing, and basically you're already submitting yourself to a higher power, if you will, or sorry, not a higher power, a stronger power, right? There is definitely an imbalance in the power relationship between the village and the controlling party, whatever it is, the kingdom, the empire, whatever you want to call it, right? So I was not surprised at all that that village was completely slaughtered and Perona was killed, right? In fact, I would have thought that would have happened even earlier. In fact, I was thinking that that was going to happen at the end of the first arc as a sort of closure to everything. They kind of left it on an ambiguous note, right? With Perona, basically trying to kill Hayase, but failing at the end, and they kind of left it at that. So if you guys go back to that episode, I think you guys will see me saying, yeah, they are all gonna die in later on, right? So yeah, it is what it is, right? So yeah, what's she trying to do? Don't really know, but hey, she is now the winner, isn't she? So she is the supposed leader of this island, and once again, I still have so many questions about this island, its leadership structure, you know, why seemingly all the people are willing, like, come on. They're basically trying to push this as a, because, you know, it's a bunch of criminals and murderers and so on and so forth, so it's a lawless land, right? It's everybody for themselves and whatnot, the stronger, you know, the survival of the fittest, if you will. So, in that kind of situation, how can you actually make it so that everybody all agrees to stay on the island? I think what would actually happen is that everybody would just, you know, this might turn into like sort of a pirate cove or something of that sort, right? Where everybody is just, you know, this is like the outlaw heaven, and basically everybody who wants to do bad things just comes to this island and whatnot. That would be the logical conclusion to all this. So, I don't know. I still have a sneaking suspicion that there is another controlling party behind all this, or you know, at least the sort of like political geopolitics situation of this is a little bit more complex than is initially being let on here. Or I don't know, maybe they don't go into it at all because that's not the focal point of this anime, which could also be possible, right? I've experienced too many works, right, already that don't really care so much as to do that kind of world building just for the sake of pushing, you know, some other kind of ideology or morality. Which, you know, to be fair, Fumetsu probably goes more towards that kind of an angle, right? With its emphasis on, should I say emphasis on the characters though, or the variety of characters, I guess you could say, because honestly, I know a lot of people were sort of, you know, got kind of drawn into the series in like the very first arc, with the boy and whatnot, and then later on with March and her story and so on and so forth, and obviously we have the entire Gugu situation as well. But I don't know, to me, I don't really I mean, Gugu kind of really had a hard life, so I'll give him that. But the rest, I don't know. It's even in this episode, after seeing Tonari's situation and whatnot, I'm just like, okay, so yeah, that's what happened to you, and then what, right? I mean, you could look at this. Maybe I'm just a little bit too unsympathetic or whatnot, or too cold towards them, but I just can't really like any of these side characters, if I'm being completely honest. Gugu I cared a lot more about because you know, you could clearly see him trying to I wouldn't even say I cared for him. I would say I respected him and what he was trying to do, but you know, it's once he got killed, and I was just like, oh damn, they really went there, right? And that was pretty much it. And the same here with Tonari's situation. Now, I will give them credit though to have that kind of to actually tell her backstory in such a way, right? Like actively denying that guy was her father, because you know, she felt that didn't fit into her image, her perception of her father, right? Who was supposed to be this really kind, really nice, you know, father figure, and instead the guy that she saw standing there on the tournament was essentially a killer, a murderer, right? Someone who killed for fun, and someone who took joy in the violence and so on and so forth. And that's why she was basically like, no, you're not my father, and so on and so forth. So I do find it quite interesting that they are willing to go that route. And that's still, you know, at the end of the day, that is all I can really say for that. Do I really feel that Tonari deserves anything better or something of that sort? You know, maybe if she works hard towards it, then yeah, then she you know, I do enjoy people who work hard and get rewarded for it. I think most people will agree with that. But at this point, I still don't really know what to think about Tonari or the entire situation. Not to mention that it's probably all going to be a moot point anyway, because you know, I feel like there's always this voice at the back of my head saying that they're all going to die in the end anyway, so what does it matter, right? But one thing I will mention, though, which I was trying to say in the episode as well, the series definitely has shown, you know, but at this point, we are already, how many arcs in? 4 arcs? 5 arcs? 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 arcs in, right? I think the clear theme throughout all 4 of these is that Fushi is coming into contact with children, basically, right? People who have not yet become adults, right? Even the first arc, the boy and whatnot, and they were all left to fend for themselves, right? The boy, you know, he was the only one left from his village, and he basically stayed behind, and so on and so forth. March, you know, she did have a family and whatnot, but she's also kind of like a you know, a unique case in her own self, and later on she was basically abandoned. You could argue that she was abandoned by her family, right? So also in a sort of situation where she's gonna have to grow by herself and whatnot. Gugu, the same thing. You know, he didn't really have a family going up beyond his brother, but then they parted ways and whatnot. Sure, later on they were in contact with Purin and the old guy and so on and so forth, but still it was Gugu fending for himself, right? And now Tonari, you know, she's also, you know, she basically has no other kind of parent figures or family figures or whatnot. It's just her and the group of kids around her. They're trying their best to survive in this world, right? So at least we have that as a common thread throughout everything here. You know, maybe and the funny thing here is that maybe at the end of this, it is going to be sort of like a coming of age story in a very roundabout way, if you guys get what I mean, where eventually, you know, Fushi, even when he was from his original form all the way up to this point, he's really kind of a child as well, right? He's constantly learning, he's constantly encountering all these different people and experiences and growing as a being, right? Maybe not quite a human, but as a being. And so maybe the end of this journey is when Fushi finally completely matures into what we would maybe even call adulthood, and then that is the end of it, right? I don't know, just throwing a guess out there. But you definitely can't deny that there is this common theme, this common thread throughout everything. So there we go. That's it for episode 16 of Fumetsu no Anata. Well, let's just see what exactly he has in store for us in the next episode, shall we? And if my predictions do become true and there is a little bit more to this entire island than meets the eye, or maybe it's really much more straightforward than I'm thinking, and they just need to find a way to become the leader once again and then get off the freaking island, right? So there we go. That's it for episode 16 of Fumetsu no Anata. I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.